Hi
How you
there.
doing?
I'm well. How are you?
Okay, okay.
uh,
Is my banner straight? Can you read it, or is backwards?
oh no, yes, it's straight.
You
I don't.
can read it,
I
right?
yeah. The A of the last A I don't see,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
okay.
Not a problem. So let's get it started, okay? Okay, let me do my little beginning. I like the old way I used to do the show, actually. A little
Right.
challenging. Greetings, hello, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube fam. How y'all doing today? Welcome to another episode of Karima's Show and Tell, where we talk about everything LA. We talk about poetry, politics, ratchetness, relationships, trending topics, and the realities of LA. Today's show is called Women's Month 2021, Inspire and Aspire. So, sorry, trying to get it right. Anyway, I'm your host, Karima J. Spear. I'm a poet. I do a lot. I'm a poet. I'm a writer, director, content creator, just a cool little dude. Anyway, I want to send a special shout outs to my music that I've been using for the past couple of weeks to from Thea Asar. The song we've been using is Return of Asar. And on today's show, we have we have a fantastic guest for y'all. We have, let me get it right. Let me see if I get it right. Tilita Lutterloh. You're muted. You're muted.
Lutterloh.
Okay, Lutterloh.
Mm-hmm.
Tilita Lutterloh. I'm getting better at this because I mess up names. So Tilita Lutterloh, Coach T, um, is a high performance health. Let me see, high performance health coach for runners. I got that right?
Well, not just runners, but yes, those are that are some of my clientele.
Okay, okay. And one of your quotes is discomfort is temporary, greatness is forever. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I did a little, trying to figure out, make sure that we get a reputable presentation, and seeing that you represent you're one of the guests for Women's Month. So I want to make sure I get it right. On today's show, we're going to talk about Women's History Month. What does it mean to you? We're going to talk about 2020 things. Since things been shut down, what has in 2021 you have aspired to? Because when you have things shut down, it gives you time for your mind to think. And in 2021, we're going to get into what exactly have you're aspiring to do, because it's only 3 months in so far, so it's a lot of room to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
And also in 2021, what is important to focus on in 2021? And also, Coach T, I'm definitely going to need some tips and habits that are important to be a winner or winning in 2021. So, let's just get right into it. It's Women History Month, right? And I want to know, what does that mean to you?
Well, that is an interesting question because I get inspired all the time, every day, all day, by different people, by strong women, outspoken women, when I see women in their element, and everything is just, you're more attracted to a person when they're in their element.
Yes.
And women represent so many things. So it's beautiful to see when a woman is standing in her own voice and in her own element. So I say all that to say, specifically, Women's History Month doesn't do anything different to me, because I see that and feel that every day, all year long. So it's great that we recognize women this month. But yeah, it's not an extra feeling of inspiration necessarily this month, because I'm always inspired by them, by us.
I mean, but what do you, but does it inspire anything? Like, does it inspire to be like, hey, sister, let me grab my sister and like, let's just get what we do better? Because the thing is, without the Black woman, right, Black men wouldn't vote, right? We wouldn't be well off at all. We'd be slaves, honestly. Let's get real with it. Black men would definitely still be enslaved, and we would have killed ourselves by now. I mean, not to go so dark, but the thing is, it's like the importance of you, right? Right, and in this universe, right, is vital. People don't really give you the accolades. I mean, women in general, Black women in general, don't give y'all the accolades that y'all deserve, because without you, you're that in between those two hard parts, those two hard things rubbing together. And I just praise and appreciate what you are to this universe. So yes. I just want to just give you a shout out,
Yes, thank you.
but I'm happy that, I mean, I know celebrating women should be universal all year round, right? But I find it interesting that right after Black History Month, they do Women's Month, as if, I mean, I think women are a double minority type thing, because of your sex, and also because Black women, have to deal with that. How's that having to deal with that?
It's as though, because we have that double whammy, if you will. Well, I should say you and I, of course, don't see it as a double whammy. It's a beautiful thing. But as far as to the rest of the society, or to the rest of the world, it creates that feeling that I'm sure well, or have heard many women talk about, having to push through, having to be better, work harder, be better than everyone else in order to get average, recognition of something. Yeah. Exactly. So I feel that all the time. And that actually makes me go back to when I see a woman really doing her thing. It fuels me to keep going. And yes, like you said, doing things together is even better. And so specifically in this month, when you do see more, not marketing, but more talk about women, or you see, whether that's social media or television, regardless if it's called Women's Month or not, but seeing more of that definitely, puts energy in you. Okay, let me step up. I need to. And when all of us step up, even individually, obviously that creates a higher vibration. And then when we do it together, that's even, it's over. Like we've done.
But the thing is, I know they promote, they basically put Black women in general on the forefront, especially in this month, doing advertisements and stuff like that. Is it a hey, about time for you to do that, or is it more like, I see you trying to market to us to get our money? I mean, is it both ways, or
it's both for sure? And I would say that came up for me actually this past year, when people became aware and awoke to all of the stuff, because it felt like, and I even had a friend say, "Oh, Black women, that we're the flavor of the month. We got to step up," because every Caucasian person wanted to do something for us or wanted to highlight us in some way. And so, yes, what you just said, both, it's about time. And I found myself constantly thinking of what someone's motives were.
Okay.
And then I would go flip back and forth like, do they really just want my money, or do they really just want to show everyone else that they are being inclusive?
Okay.
And then I would go, on the other hand, does it matter to me if I get this help, or if I get some opportunity or offer or something like that? It's up to me to take full advantage of that. Like, what am I going to do with that? So it doesn't matter. Does it matter that really this person's motives are self-motivated to up their own reputation or something?
That we're connecting.
Yeah. So I did go back and forth with that, but ultimately I always have to come back to what my own core values are. And is this opportunity aligned with the core values? Is this person, like, do I want to be associated with this person? All those different things. And then when I answer that question through the lens of my values, then it's all about what my goals are at the end of the day, and that I'm staying in alignment with my values.
Because as long as you stay grounded, and you pick up what you want to pick up, and you put down what you want to put down, and then it doesn't affect you.
Exactly.
But I just worry about the young ladies out there that are like exposed and like, oh yeah, they love us now, and then the fact that next month they don't love you, they don't show you, you know, you're feeling invisible. You know, what do you say to those young ladies that are dealing with, you know, just being young and exposed to, you know, or being told, oh yeah, by the way, that, you know, you have to deal with these things? Because when you grow up, everybody seems equal. You know, you playing together, boys and girls, you know, everybody basically, you know, as a child looks the same body wise. And then it's like, oh yeah, you know, that phrase of, I didn't know I was poor, because we were just So what do you say to those young ladies that are getting to that point where you see how society is seeing you different, even though you don't feel different, you don't feel that, but what do you say to them?
Do you, essentially. And I know that sounds like sounds easier said than done, of course. But at the end of the day, that is who you need to satisfy. That's who you need to make happy, is you, and not anybody else. And so, yes, it will be hard. And that's why, talking about being grounded, surrounding yourself with people who inspire you, who are honest with you, who keep it real with you, who support you, and have your back, especially if you do like take opportunities or work with these other individuals. Just be aware. You don't have to go in, you know, just hard and with your guard up. It's just an awareness. And you know, you have your tribe to support you, and do what you got to do with them. And then you, at the end of the day, it's back to your own happiness.
Okay.
But it is, in saying that, I do know 100% that it is easier said than done. And which is why we shouldn't do these things by ourselves.
Have your crew, your village. To basically help you to understand what's going on. You know. So in 2020 got shut down. How was that to you? I mean, how did you deal with it?
It was interesting, actually, because I had one of the best years in my business, that is, because I had 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, had started my online business.
Okay.
So thank goodness that I had an online business.
What kind of online business was that?
So I do strength conditioning and nutrition for high performers, for high achievers, who really want to take their health and performance to the next level. And so I have an online program, a group training program, And during that time where, everything was closing down and the gyms were closing, I saw people obviously on social media trying to figure out, what am I going to do? I don't have my gym, and trying to make up stuff or figure out what to do in home. And, oh, it's not the same. I need my weights. But I know, because I'm a very creative coach. And I've been coaching for 16 years now.
Yeah.
I know it's possible. Like, you just really, if you want to make it happen, if you really want to stay focused on your goals and keep moving forward towards your goals, then you can figure things out. It's all about doing the best with what you have.
Okay.
And so I started that. I've been training people for 16 years, but this was the first time that I had a group program, because I also noticed, other than people struggling with their workouts and their health and fitness, people were also struggling with connection, obviously, and not being able to go out and socialize. So the group aspect was, feeding two birds with one seed, essentially, connecting in a group setting, even if it is virtual, and also getting your strength and conditioning.
So what was your feedback on that? I mean, what did you get? I mean,
I'm now in my I just finished my third round of that program. And that was simply created to help people in that time. And by the end of it, everyone had asked me, are you doing this again? We have to keep it up, especially because the pandemic went longer than everyone thought it would. And so, I went back into the lab, made some adjustments, added some things like, ooh, that could work better. Let me do it this way. And then the next round, I got more people. And then, so I was like, okay, this has become one of my signature offerings now. And I'm really, it says something about the resilience of people, the adaptability of us. If you really put your mind to it and don't succumb or don't dwell in the negative space of all the worry and all the anxiety of and uncertainty, because of course that exists, like the uncertainty and the mental health issues that come with that. Of course that is valid, but to dwell in it and continue in that space isn't productive. So I think we should focus on, okay, well, what can you control? What can we do in this time? And that's focus on your own self, your growth and development.
I know they must have praised you for giving them a distraction, even if it's a momentary distraction. But the thing is, it's like the thing is, exercise is what I found out about, what I think about exercise is that when you don't think about it, it's fun. But when you think about your exercising, you're miserable. And I'm certain that your people that was in your thing was like, hey, I'm not even thinking about the me being locked in. I'm just like, hey, I got to make sure that I do these reps, and I get good at doing these reps, Okay.
That's funny, but that's interesting because it doesn't have to be miserable. I just find that interesting.
I mean, there's people out there like me. I'm like, I used to exercise a lot. Okay, the COVID thing did mess me up. I do find out for me, what I need to work on is time management and finding time for it. I work out on Saturdays. I'm trying to find other days. And so, okay, this is the truth. This really, okay. So I got a gym. I finally was like, yes, this is my second year. The gym was good. Then this was like 2019, right? And then 2020, okay, cool. We're going to get fired up. We're going to go to the gym more. I found the machines that I like. I like the row machine. That's one of my favorite machines. And so, okay, I was like, we're going to get this done. Then all of a sudden, everything got closed down. And I was like, I finally got into, because, you start off with one day, then you add a second day. And then I finally got to 3 days. I was like, yes, nice. I can do this. This works. Everything shut down. And I was like, oh God, like this is hard to keep this going. So I did stop. So now I'm like, damn, now I got to go get the row machine. I got to go buy me a row machine for the house And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm just waiting for this stimulus to come so I can buy me a row machine. But I find it difficult. I found it very difficult because I finally got the mindset to do it 3 times a week.
Yes.
Now I got shut down again.
Yes.
So,
yes, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I would say you're already you're taking those steps. That mindset piece is the most important piece. And the fact that you were thinking about it incrementally, like, okay, I got 1 day down, boom. Okay, I got 2 days down, boom. Like, yes, that's exactly how you progress, as opposed to this all or nothing kind of mentality.
We're gonna just do it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great. And for those who have the similar feeling of, wow, this is difficult to make it work and do this by yourself. No one is expecting you, or I wouldn't expect you to be the expert on exercise or nutrition if that's not what you necessarily do.
Okay.
So yeah, it might be hard to figure it out. So then get guidance. There's
that's where you come in.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to do this, but I'm finding it difficult. So it's 2021, 3 months in. So what is anything changed between the 2020 and 2021, or are we on a different mission, or where are we at right now?
Me personally?
Yeah. As far as you, and then also your business.
I think the past year also, I was in introspective, like, reflection mode, because of course there's plenty of time for that. And I think it really put into perspective the things that really matter. I mean, I always attempt to live life daily in that way, like, what are the most important things to me? And but even more so, it was just a heightened awareness of that, and what types of things I want to consume, whether that be in my brain, like TV, books, but also food, like just consumption, was less this past year. And that felt good. So that has continued into this year so far. And who I want to be around. I mean, even though, we're not around a lot of people, but just meaning, who would I really want to put the effort to connecting with on a Zoom call, let's say, or
on the phone, or
yeah.
I mean, especially being in quarantine now. Like, I wanted to see my mother. My mother moved here, and I literally cut back 90% of everybody I knew. That I communicate, we go out, have fun, we talk and stuff like that. I was like, my mom, if I'm going to get quarantined, I'd rather get quarantined with my mother and my family.
Yes.
And then I'll see y'all after this thing is over.
Yes.
Like, it's not like we can do this on Zoom most of the meetings. But I do miss some of my friends. But I'm like, but it also 2020 made me allowed me to understand who I really miss and who I miss because it was just a routine of me with them. It's like, hey,
yes,
we go hiking, so I guess we're gonna go, and now it's like, nah, I really need to hang out or connect with these people because they feed the spirit, and they feed the soul, and they feed the mind, and I call them super friends now. So I got the friends and I got the super friends, and I'm like, I just want some more super friends.
I love that. Yeah.
That's where I've been at. I mean, what also I wanted to share with you is that this year, I think last year I was like, oh, I'm gonna pick up a book and read. This is kind of read I am. I'm like a drought reader. Like literally, I won't read for like 2 or 3 years, any book, right? And then I'll like, oh, I want to read, and then I'll read like 7 books all together. And then all of a sudden it's like a drought. But because of 2020 and the quietness, I call it the stillness of it, making you think and gaining clarity, it made me to a aggressive reader. But now, because of it, it became like it's a must-have thing.
Yes. Yep.
To read, to gain new knowledge.
Yes.
And so I'm excited about reading. I got all these books like sitting around. They were like, "Really, you gonna read all the books?" Yes, but I'm not gonna read them like I'm reading one book and then move to another book. I'm gonna read them all over the place as I need the information. Some
Mm-hmm.
books are for information. Some books are for entertainment or this project or that project.
Mm-hmm.
But I read now like crazy, and it's like I'm like reading the bathroom. Got my little thing for the bathroom and all that stuff.
Nice, nice.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I love that. And that it's interesting because I used to be the opposite, the what you were saying, the one book at a time, because I didn't understand how can you read 7 books at my partner, he he reads like 10 books at one time, and I didn't understand how that was possible. But like you said, that doing it that way, like it's some books are for reference, or some books are
yeah,
for pleasure, or some books are,
yeah,
um so then I started
mhm,
this past year doing, uh, as long as they were different genres
yeah.
or subject matters, I could do 2 or 3 at a time, and one of them being an audio book. Like if I
Okay,
listened to one and then I read the other,
okay.
and that helped. That was
I do have one audio book, but I did read the book already.
okay.
And I'm like, I was gonna go back and look because it was such a great book. I highlighted everything. That it was actually a book about writing and writing beats in
Mm,
a screenplay. So it was like a real technical book. But I was like it's one of those books that I've been waiting all my life to read, and I'm like, I wish I had started with this. Then I wouldn't have read the rest of that junk that they call screenwriting books. And I'm like,
oh, right.
this is fire. Like, excuse me. So but I do that. I'm like, okay, cool, I can do this. Because also I got into the stock market, right?
Oh, okay.
I got into the stock market because it was a great distraction. And then I
Mm,
got my friends, so now I started a investment club. We just talk about and research, and it's some fun things. But it's amazing what 2020 has done. Like it was disastrous for a lot of people,
mm-hmm,
really dark and really unnerving for a lot
mm-hmm,
of people. But at the same time, God was like, wait up, I'm trying to clear your mind, so you can ground yourself better,
mm-hmm,
for what's gonna happen in 2021.
mm-hmm.
I honestly feel as though like we messed up, like people, we messed up with um with God, because the thing is, I don't think I really thought in like when you were a child and you like in 1980s, you go like, oh, when 2020 get here, it's gonna be off the chain. We're
Yes.
gonna fly cars, and so you really believe that and think that, and then you go, it didn't happen. Like, oh, we must have really did something bad. We must have really didn't pay attention. So let's move on to so what's your tip? Actually, no, let's go. So what is important to people to focus on in 2021 for you now?
Um, well, of course, I might be biased since this is the industry that I work in,
Mhm.
but I do think that, like, your body is this is your vessel that takes you through life, that allows you to do the
Okay.
things you want to do.
Mhm.
And so to focus on nourishing it the best that you can, strengthening it the best that you can, so that you can take on like obstacles that come your way so you can better get through them, but also so you can be proactive in going after the goals that you have. And by goals, I don't necessarily mean a fitness goal or
Yeah.
some kind of health goal, but any of your goals. If you are in a body that you feel good in, then you'll be able to do the things it takes to reach that goal, with more ease. So I think that to really sit down with yourself and evaluate, okay, really, what are my um, core values?
Mhm.
What are some goals that I like, deep meaningful goals? Um, and then assess the things that needs to take place, like work backwards from what that goal is. In
Mhm.
order to do that, I need to have this. In order to do that, I need to have this. And then nourishing and strengthening your body to make that happen.
You find that would be, I think that you should add that to one of your programs. It's like this is your steps that you need to do. Do you do that?
Oh yes, that's actually coming up. That's coming up.
Okay.
Next week, I have a 3 different offerings, or 3 different days. I'm offering a free masterclass that I'm teaching on Zoom, and it's called the Game Changer Method. So, and this is basically the framework that it's a high performance framework, essentially high performance habits that I think everyone. I don't want to use the word should, but high performance habits that will help you reach your goals without working harder. Like, we don't need to do more. It's about working smarter. And so these steps to take for you to get there with efficiency, and not having to wear yourself out.
You got a little sample for us? Because I know people watching this, they were like, okay, she said that. Okay. Got a little sample? Like, so what's one of them?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, if you think about, let's say, your whatever goal you have, there's this thing I call goal digging identity statement.
Okay.
And essentially, you're just thinking of what are the qualities or personality traits or behaviors of a person who already has that goal that you want.
Okay.
So let's say your goal is to own your own business.
Okay.
Let's say if you picture someone who owns their own business, or someone that you look up to that owns their own business, what qualities, would you describe that person? What behaviors do they exhibit on a regular basis?
Okay.
Writing all of that down, then you can pull from that various descriptive words to create your own goal digging identity statement, mixed with, though, strengths that you already have.
Okay.
So this is
to be something that you're not.
Right. Exactly. And it's mixing those things, strengths that you already have with these aspiring qualities that okay, well, I know I'm going to need to do that or shift into this kind of behavior in order to reach this goal. So combining that to create that statement. So that's one of the things we do in the values work. And creating that statement is part of essentially your winning mindset formula. And how you use that statement can be in a few different ways. So I've had a couple clients who will, when they start their day, a lot of people have their morning meditation or mantras or affirmations that they say to themselves. Well, I have some clients who will use this statement, this identity statement, as their kind of ritual in the morning. And it's like you are stepping into the shoes of this identity. You're trying on this identity and moving about your day in this identity and feeling it out to make certain decisions in your day that might be different if you didn't have that on. If you're just regular.
Just jump out of bed, just go.
Yeah.
Just preparing for the day.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's one way. Another way you can use that statement is if you are in a moment that you need to make, it doesn't even have to be a major decision, but you're trying to make some decision, or you're struggling with something. You might ask yourself, well, what would and then whatever that statement is, an organized, disciplined, energetic leader do in this moment? Like, if that's your statement.
Okay.
And knowing that, what would an organized, disciplined, energetic leader, those words would cause you to make a certain decision in that moment if you're struggling with something. And that decision might be different than a person who's unorganized, not disciplined, and lethargic. That would be a different decision. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I had a question. So what do you do with the people who are counterproductive? Like, literally, they signed up, they said they wanted to do it, and then they're doing their best to not participate or do it. I mean, how do you deal with? Because I know there's some people out here that I really wanted to do it, but it's just something for the surface, right? How do you get them to be like, okay, let's get into it? What would you say to them, or how would you help them?
Well, I was actually just speaking about this a little bit earlier today, that it's almost as though you really don't want it. So, and I'll explain that you find the time to do the things that are important to you.
Okay.
So essentially it just means you haven't tapped into why this thing is important to you.
Okay.
And that's why you're not showing up, and that's why it's not consistent.
Okay.
And so that's where my work would come in. It's not me trying to persuade you that this is important, because the goals have to come from you, a deeper place in you, not because someone told you this is important or you should do this.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you realize it's not important. That's why it's been so hard for me. And then you decide not to. But we have to dig deeper and see what it is that you truly want.
Yeah.
And instead of prioritizing your schedule,
Mm-hmm.
you have to schedule your priorities.
Okay.
I heard that. That's not a me quote, but I heard that a couple of years ago, and just simply put that way, I was like, yes, that makes sense, because we're always thinking, oh, I'm too busy for that. Oh, I have all this on my schedule, but it's on your schedule for a reason.
Yeah.
You put it on the schedule. So if it's important to you, you schedule those priorities, not the other way around. And so it's really goes back to what's the deeper, what value is this thing serving in your life?
Okay. So,
and a friend of mine, she'll say your why power needs to be is stronger than willpower. We can't rely on willpower just to force yourself through something. It has to be why is it important to you? That's the deeper motivating thing.
Okay. Here's some food for thought right there. We got like, okay, I never thought about it that way.
And it doesn't mean, even if you have that deep why and you're like, you understand exactly, it doesn't mean you're going to do it perfectly. It just means you are shifting into that mindset that you're willing to start to change things, that you're willing to do things a different way. It still might be like, oh, you're not used to it at first, and it'll take, like you said, you started out with one day, even though plenty of people work out 5 times a week, but that wasn't, if you had started that way, you wouldn't have been consistent.
Yeah.
So at least you took a moment because you were willing to figure out, okay, how is this going to work for me? And then you took those steps. That's really what, high performance is all about. That's really what high achievers do. They take a moment to figure out how to make it work. Yeah. Whatever the goal is, how to make this work.
Yeah. Speaking of how to make this work, like this is the 5th season of Karima Show and Tell.
Oh, nice.
Right. And this is episode 79. I did 79 episodes, 78
nice.
episodes.
Nice.
And the first 4 seasons, it was like, the first season was 28 episodes, then the second season 20, then little by little I shrank. But then sometimes I realized from this moment of doing the show that when you're on the stage, you don't see yourself because you're on the stage performing, creating. Right? And sometimes you need to step back, get off the stage and just watch the stage. I mean, to actually understand what your purpose is. Because I was doing so much of keeping up to do the show that I was like, I'm not growing the show. So you find that in your business that you're so busy working at it that you gotta find time to build it at the same time, Yeah.
100%. 100%. And mine is fairly new, like having only been 2 years old. But yes, especially because I'm a one-woman show right now. It's not like I have a team of people. And so yes, it often feels like I'm in working on my business, or there's a phrase as instead of in my business, I'm working on my business. Yeah. But yes, it's attempting to establish some foundation and I'm in it because I'm really focused on the client or if it's a private client or the group, and I so want to show up for them, in a big way, then forgetting the bigger picture. Oh, okay, what I'm moving in a certain direction. I want to grow in a certain direction. So yeah, I find that, and for that, I keep around me, like I have a small group of like business friends who
Okay.
we meet once a week, and kind of like accountability buddies, just to ask those questions like that, like, what are you doing this week? To what one thing are you doing this week that
Okay.
might be about building as opposed to just grinding?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. It's you're trying to find that balance.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, well, you know, I see somebody else do it. I got to muscle through it like they do. And you're like, you don't even know how their structure is or how many people they got on their team.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
Karima Show and Tell, as I have a lot of co-hosts typically, and I have about 25 co-hosts, what I call them heavies. And
Heavies.
and the thing is, traditionally I run the boards and host, and sometimes I need the co-host to be like, hey, keep talking, hold this while I make sure the sound is good, and we can continue. But now it's like, okay, we're back to resetting, because I have we'd be on set, and it'd be like 3 to 4 guests on set, and I'll be running boards on the side. It'll be off camera, and we would just do the show. But now, because of COVID and because of the Zoom, and I'm trying to be honest with my audience and let them know that I miss the old way, but I'm going to embrace this new way and give you still good, exciting shows.
Right.
So yeah. So
and I think what I've noticed about a lot of people, they've been more understanding.
Yeah.
And so I don't think anyone expects it to necessarily be perfect or the exact same as it was when you were doing it in person. And so they appreciate that you are even putting forth the effort to still.
Yeah, I see people like, hey, I like the show. I'm like, really? Or you just saying that to be polite to my feelings? But I'm like, okay, let me stop. Let me stop. Just say thanks. Just say thank you. In other words, don't put no extra on it. Say thank you for you tuning in. For something I gave you in the past was enough to compel you to be like, hey, I'm still gonna ride with you. I want to see what you got, because I did it 5 years ago when there wasn't too many podcasts, like visual video cast, and now it's so many, and the production is so good. I'm like, wow, this is okay, new challenge, but I'm not worried about losing the audience and stuff like that. People who like me like what I was talking about.
Yes, exactly. And that's the same way I have felt. Like if you go on Instagram or YouTube, there are plenty of fitness coaches or nutrition coaches who have all the best tech stuff. And so their video quality and their lighting is perfect.
You're like, wow,
it's great.
Man. And you go, really?
Right.
And you're like, you know what? But the thing is, I say, okay, they may look better, but my show, right, wholeheartedly, I can say I write original content. I'm not looking at videos, getting ideas from other people, and then all of a sudden say, oh, I'm put this on my show, and because my show is more than just the personality. It's more like, this is some interesting stuff that regular people talk about.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
People really want to know. So my last question, did we talk about the tips? We talked about the habits, right?
Or we did one so far, but yeah.
Okay, well, give me more then. Give me more.
Oh yeah. So that was a mindset. Like, so my business, the 3 pillars essentially are goal digging mindset, habit-based nutrition, and excuse me, and strength and conditioning.
Okay.
So we did a little bit of the mindset piece. Okay. So for nutrition,
yes, this is my favorite part. Okay.
I am specifically a plant-based nutrition coach. However,
you got something in the background, by the way, some sound. Is that me?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. So say it, please.
I'm specifically a plant-based nutrition coach.
Okay.
However, even if your nutrition and you have no desire to be plant-based specifically, the approach I take with nutrition is a habit-based approach.
Okay.
As opposed to, like, with no client do I count calories or weigh ounces or grams of food. I think obviously different people have different goals, but I think you can still reach that goal without getting bogged down by the nitty gritty of numbers. Like you have more things to worry about than, counting calories. Hold on one second. I feel like you can still hear that. Yes. No.
A little bit. I'm listening to you. But the okay, so how would you get started? Because honestly, like my problem is that, like, I don't mind a plant-based. Okay, not plant-based. How about 80% plant-based? Still need my little meat protein, right? So how would a person like that get started? Because a lot of people are like, plants. I've been eating meat all my life. Why are you trying to take out my So I mean, how would a person get started? Like from there.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, always love that question, or newbies or plant-based curious people. Because yes, one step at a time is always the best, I think the best approach to most things. Sometimes you got to jump in, but one step at a time is typically the best. And especially if you're a heavy meat eater, thinking about either what a lot of people will do meatless Mondays or something. So if you can say one day, not even the whole day, maybe it's your dinner. So meatless Monday dinner, one day a week, and to force you to get more creative on just that one meal and explore all the different, maybe you each week, I've had clients each week when they go to the grocery store, buy one new fruit or vegetable or plant-based item that you've never had before. Just one each week. I have a friend who does that with her family all the time. And that will help you obviously learn more foods that do exist.
Okay, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna definitely take that idea.
Yeah. The second is, instead of thinking about what you can't have or what you're not allowed to have, because in the brain there is a mechanism where it's kind of like children. When you say you can't do that or don't do that, the brain is thinking about that thing. So you want it even more. So instead of saying, oh, you're taking my meat away from me, or even if you're wanting to eat more plant-based or eat for better health, think about all the things you get to add. So I'm always adding things to my client's plate. And eventually, ultimately, there won't be space. Like they'll find themselves creating more space for the things we're adding, such as another game that I play with clients is called the color game. So if you put all the colors of the rainbow in like on a separate strip of paper in a bowl, and each day close your eyes and pick 2 to 3 out of the bowl. Whatever colors you get, you have to eat something that are those colors in every single meal you have that day.
Okay.
And by colors, obviously, I don't mean Skittles or ketchup or mustard, but actual whole foods. And that's another way, because it's adding more than you would typically be thinking about adding to your plate. So that's another good kind of strategy.
Because I remember doing like Wednesday, all vegetable, and my body metabolism got faster. Like, okay, you're going to do your Monday, Tuesday, like you normally do, and Wednesday just be, okay, vegetables. And the hardest thing is to find a great vegetarian lunch. I find it very, very hard just to you go to a place to get lunch. I'm like, I can't eat meat right now. I can eat vegetables all day, but and finding like choices. I think that's the biggest my problem, and the biggest problem for a lot of people is that a whole bunch of dishes with meat, right? You just don't know enough dishes that taste good, right? Because you eat from experience. Like, okay, I remember my mom made that, so I know that tastes good. But to actually be like, okay, I ate this and I'm not disappointed. Like, I mean, so what are the main vegetables that you would say definitely add that are tasty, that will help you get motivated? Like me, cabbage. I love cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of versions of cabbage is the thing. What other vegetables and beets are like? So what other vegetables would you suggest to people?
I love beets too.
Yeah.
Well, of course, tasty is relative. Like something you like, I might not like, and something I like, somebody else. But like I'm a big Swiss chard and kale person. I actually like those better. I like spinach, but I happen to like those better than spinach. I also like to think of things as getting the most bang for your buck. So like, for instance, chickpeas or quinoa, both of those are are protein rich and are great sources of your good carbohydrates. And so they cover a lot of ground. So that's getting a lot of bang for your buck. I also love Brussels sprouts and green beans and green peas. Those are some of my, and green peas are also a good protein source.
Before we keep going about vegetables, let's go into the third point before this video ends.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go, but I was interested personally.
Yeah. Oh no, that's okay.
What I need to focus on. Okay, so we got the you said the health, the fitness part. We got the nutrition part, and the third part.
Oh no, we got the mindset, nutrition, and now yes, we're going into strength and conditioning.
Okay.
So as far as the majority of the clientele I work with, if you consider yourself a ambitious or goal-oriented high achiever, these are the people I work with. And high performers do not exercise. High performers,
explain that to us.
High performers do not exercise. We train.
Okay.
And there's a difference between training and exercising. Training is all about the intentionality and the structure.
Okay.
Something. There's you're working towards something, so you're in training, right? Okay. And it could be training for life, like you don't have to be training for a marathon or training, but you consider your activity a non-negotiable, and it is structured into your weekly routine with intention. Exercise is more leisure, random movement. And I'm not saying there's any, like, one is right or wrong, but when you're thinking about high performance and you are thinking about big goals, you want to think about your physical activity as training and make that a part as a non-negotiable. Now, however you structure it, will be different at different times. So again, going back to your example, you were intentional about it and you said to yourself, okay, I'm going to do this starting out once a week. So that was your structure. And then you built it up to 2, and then you built it up to 3. And that was a non-negotiable for you for a while until the shutdown. Whereas people who exercise, it's not a non-negotiable. It's like, oh, it's a good idea. I should move my body a couple times a week. Yeah. But that will be the first thing to go when they think they're getting busy, or when they get stressed or something comes up. That'll be the first thing to go. And that is not the first thing to go when you are talking about high performers.
So you mean exercise would be the people that take pictures of themselves on exercising, like, hey, take a picture of me real quick, And I mean, those people that be like, hey, I'm gonna go on treadmill, and you ain't really doing it. You just watching people like, yeah, I'm here exercising.
Yes.
Right? Okay, I just want to know, because I mean,
it could be.
People get mad at me for not taking pictures of myself. I was like, I'm in the gym exercise. I'm in the gym doing this. I only got 1 hour. It's the time limit. That's it.
Exactly.
Something.
Exactly.
And they be like, no, we got. I was like, no, you don't. You got 1 hour. That's it. And then if you miss that moment, you didn't get what you're supposed to get anyway. That's just
right. You didn't maximize the exactly.
That's why you never see any Zoom pictures of me. You never seen the pictures of me posing in the gym, because I just don't think that you want to see sweaty Karim be posing in the gym. That's just me. But
yes, if you are sitting back, if you're, to me, and this is for anyone, of course, watching, this is not a judgment at all. It's just something I've seen over the years that I just never understood. I don't know how a person can read when they're on the treadmill.
Okay.
Or if
really,
reading a magazine or reading a book, I don't know how that's possible if you really are doing what you're supposed to be doing on the.
Yeah. Or they talk, or they really talking to each other. Hey, it was good. Like, you're not really doing it. You're supposed to have some lungs, and stuff like that. So that's just me. So anyway, because I definitely want to make sure. So how can people get in contact with you?
Well, let's see. My Instagram would probably be the first contact point, or the easiest.
Okay.
So at I am Tilita. And if anyone is interested, like, I would love to have people at the free masterclass next week. That you can go to tiny.cc/game-changer-method. And you can sign up there and choose which time and day work for you. And on Facebook at Tilitafied. But yeah, those are the main places right now. Still working on like a full website, but those are the main places right now.
Okay. And folks, you will not be disappointed. This flatly, you will not be disappointed. She's motivational. You heard her speak, y'all. So she knows she's going to get you to where you need to go. So
thank you.
And I just want to tell y'all, this is how the type of show we're going to bring. Real people talking about real things. I hope you're enjoying it. But if you like what we're doing, y'all, definitely hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share it. I keep on forgetting that part. It's a Zoom version of it.
Yes.
So hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share it with people. But I just want to thank you for being a guest on the show. Definitely episode 79, the beginning of celebrating Women's Month, is really, really a blessing to me and a blessing to the public out there. Because the thing is, one of the things I think people, especially the guests on my show, have said that I love supporting businesses from my Black businesses. I love supporting that, because the thing is, it's like, I need you to do that for our community,
right?
To help our community out. And I love when you bring the positive energy to the community, and you really are trying to make it better, and give people options. Anyway, again, I want to thank you for being on the show. Thank everyone for tuning in to see. This is season 5, episode 79. This is called Women's Month 2021, Inspire and Aspire, on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I want to thank you, Coach T. Right?
Thank you.
Is that good?
Oh yeah, yes, thank you. I appreciate it for having me.
Season already super awesome. Also, I want everybody, definitely the next episode is episode 80 on Thursday, March the 25th. March 25th at 8:15 Pacific Coast time. Anyway, Karima's show is a great show, so go tell somebody. Until next time, and thank you, Coach T. And also, you got to be on the show again. You got to be on.
Well, I would love that. Definitely.
We do a health and fitness show too, and I bring
cool.
in different people talking about different things, and yoga teachers and stuff like that. And it's just going to be a great thing. And I can't wait till this COVID is done, so you can come to the studio and really get it done.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll give you and your team a little workout.
Okay. They were like, come on. They were like, what you got us in? Like, what you do to us? I was like, no. It's good. It's good. No. They were like, no, this is a setup. We know what a setup look like. So
right.
Until next time, thank you and stay blessed. Okay. And definitely shoot me an email or something on Facebook so I can share it with my community. Okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, and have a blessed day.
Yes, you too. Thank you so much.